this is this is going to be a first. Yeah, I've never spoken on this story before, so this is a first for you.
سمعتوا يقول شغلة حصرية. اليوم عندنا لقاء مع شخصية فاجأت العالم. إذا مايكل سيلر هو عراب البيتكوين، ضيفنا اليوم هو عراب الميم كوين اللي حقق مليارات بسرعة خرافية، مليارات آلاف الملايين، أسرع ملياردير بدون وراثة. الضيف اليوم راح يكشف أسرار لأول مرة. اللقاء بالإنجليزي بس فعلوا ترجمة العربية، وهذا الجزء الأول والجايات أكثر حماس، فخلي نروح الآن الشيبتوشي.
How's it going? Happy to be here.
Really happy to have you. I'm sure you've talked about this a lot, but my audience haven't heard your story. How the two parts. First, the Bitcoin. I think you started around 2011 with Bitcoin. How did you get into Bitcoin? And the sheep story.
I first heard about Bitcoin in 2010, and I kind of was doing some due diligence, and I saw a lot of negativity on it on the internet. I saw that it was associated with, some illegal websites. So at the time, I figured and deemed it to be illegal, right? I didn't do any deep due diligence into it. I didn't think much into it, but I do vividly remember at the moment that I was first told about Bitcoin, I believe Bitcoin was around $1. But several months later in 2011, I was in Vegas on the poker tables, and, we're at the table with me. They were talking about this online poker game that they were going to go up to the rooms and play. So I started inquiring about it. I was like, well, what's the buy-in? How do we wire money in, etc.? Well, no, it's Bitcoin. And that was the second time that I have ever heard that word from anybody. It was a place where you could go and play poker online. So I decided I was going to pull the trigger, and I did an OTC transaction, and I geared up for the poker game. I didn't make that poker game, but I caught the one the very next day. I lost that $30,000 in Bitcoin. When I went home, I did all my due diligence. I read the white paper, I hit the forums. I started reading around. I found some peer-to-peer exchanges, and I embraced it. When I read the white paper, I really felt like it was what we needed in the world, especially stemming from the 2008 crash. It was almost like Satoshi Nakamoto knew that the crash was coming because he alluded to it. And I was like, man, this is a first of its kind. It's private, but I was all about it. And what I really loved is there was no authority figure that could take your money from you. And I don't think anybody at the time really knew the full extent of what Bitcoin was going to do. And, none of us obviously could have comprehended what it would turn into. I mean, I remember when Bitcoin hit $100, and Bitcoin's at $100,000 right now. I mean, it's crazy. This is going to be a first. Yeah, I've never spoken on this story before, so this is a first for you. So, in the early days, I was trying to pay as least amount of tax, if any at all, that I possibly could. And local Bitcoins and Pax rolled out KYC, and it locked my account. And they wanted me to KYC in order to get the Bitcoins back. So I waited out. I talked to a couple of my buddies, and I was like, damn, I owe way more taxes from those accounts than I even have in those accounts to begin with right now. I'm just going to walk away from it. And I did. Obviously, I was in the back of my head the whole time. I knew, like, I have these wallets on these exchanges. But in 2019, right around the time Donald Trump was being elected the first time, Bitcoin price surged. It ran to $20,000. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to revisit this KYC crap. When I walked away from the accounts, Bitcoin was around $300, $400 maybe. It's now sitting around $20,000. So I started the process, and it was a lengthy one. Of course, they didn't really want to give you your Bitcoin back. There was a lot of KYC and a lot of this and a lot of that and a lot of back and forth. But eventually, I was able to get my Bitcoins back. And not every instance is just a conviction play where you're just diamond handing it and just hodling, right? In my particular situation, where the forced hold, and I started over. I started reaccumulating. But that forced hold changed my life. But, if the situation had played out differently in 15 and that KYC stuff never had happened, maybe there's a scenario that we wouldn't even be talking right now. I wouldn't be who I am in the space. I would be maybe working a 9 to 5 job. It's just so crazy that, something that's so out of your control can completely just change your life and your family's lives.
I talked a lot about the ship purchase you've done. Is that the fastest person that reached this kind of number in history?
I am the only situation that I know of. It was about 400 days. But the story goes like this. So leading into August 1st, which is when Shib launched, a couple months prior to that, I was talking to one of my friends who is a stock guy. And this was one of my real life friends, and I'm crypto, he's stock. And we were sitting there talking in his garage and getting ready to go grab some lunch. And he was just, so on cloud nine, just so happy. He was talking about how his stock portfolio had gone up 30% this last year. And he was just over the moon happy about it. And I'm like, yo, bro, like my portfolio swings 30% in a single hour. Sometimes like that's not that impressive. And so I started talking to him about cryptocurrency. And several months later, he shoots me a text message. He's like, yo, you got to buy this token, man. It's the Dogecoin killer. Because leading into this, so before we get to this point, like we had talked about Dogecoin, right? So fast forward a couple months, he hits me up and he's shilling me this Dogecoin killer. He found it in one of his groups that he's in. And I'm thinking to myself, surely this guy who's, to my knowledge, has never invested in any cryptocurrency isn't going to have a banger, right? There's just no way. We talked back and forth about it on how he found it. He added me to the group, but unfortunately the group was Arab and I don't speak the language.
Really? An Arab group. Oh, wow.
Yeah, in Arab. So he was translating for me and, I just kind of got over it and left the group. Well, he kept wearing me down and wearing me down. So then I found out 7 of my other friends had invested into this thing. So I'm like, because we're all in a texting group together. So like I'm asking everybody what their bags are, their bag size their bag foldings are. So everybody is like kind of sharing to me, what bag size they have, and they got in very early, right? This is day 1 Shiba Inu launch, and around the 5-hour mark after launch, I just started thinking and laughing to myself that I just thought it would be funny to buy more tokens than all of my 7 friends together. Right? It's not that, I believed in what it was. I had no idea it was going to do what it did. So I started buying SHIB on the run up and on the run down. I mean, literally around $500,000 market cap, I'm buying. It ran up to around $1 million and then came crashing down. And over the course of the next couple of days, I continued to dollar cost average until I had a bigger position than all of my friends. And then it continued to stay down, didn't do anything. As time went on, that group stopped talking about SHIB. And we just kind of moved on in our crypto journeys, and it was around that time the new iPhone came out. So I leveled up, got a new iPhone, took my old iPhone away, which is where my wallets were. And that's where the wallet stayed. So months later, we start hearing a bunch about Shiba Inu again, and they start talking about it in the group, and we start seeing a run up, and there was an interaction between Elon Musk and a community member. I think it was like Shib supporter or something. It was like Shib something. It was a community member asked Elon Musk, how much Shiba Inu coin do you have? And the dude said 0. Elon said 0. It was like Elon Musk said, I'm going to buy $1 billion of this coin right now. The price fucking flew. And Shiba Inu has always had an extremely active community. In fact, that is kind of what I model my community after, right? It's a community first approach. Without a community, you have nothing, right?
What was is it okay if I ask you, what was the top all-time high of your wallet?
Well, most notably, everybody says $5.7 billion. When I invested into SHIB, it was a minor amount to me, and it was about $13,500, which was about 37 ETH at the time. It turned into a large amount, but you know, I believe in the community. I believe in the original vision, and you know, I have no reservations to do anything with it as of now. You know, so I'm just, you know, taking my time, splitting my wallets up as I have been doing, and you know, keeping everything in a safe place. But you know, my life continues with or without that, and if nothing else, I've got some pretty incredible screenshots from start to finish of my SHIB journey.
You don't sell the tokens, you borrow against it. What do you do? How do you earn?
I'm holding. You know, I've split my wallet up since then. You know, like I said, it started with the 30 trillion split. And then I transferred 40 trillion. As it stands now, you know, I have my holdings spread across many wallets. According to bubble maps, they say I have 150 wallets. I will tell you that is wrong. Their tracking system sucks because I've got more than that.
خلصنا الجزء الأول مع شيبتوشي الملياردير المقنع الأسطوري. طبعا صدمت بصراحة من بساطة كلش هو يعني واحد كلش بسيط ما تتوقعه، بس الأجزاء الجاية أقوى فلا تفوتها. إذا عجبكم اللقاء هنا سووا لايك، اشتركوا إذا يعجبكم، كتبوا لنا شنو آراءكم، خلينا نعرف شنو أسئلتكم.